The next article I wanted to read is entitled, "My Vote Was Stolen. Michele Bachmann will never be a chump who accepts Biden's win." I know I keep talking about Michele Bachmann, but she is the cringiest person alive right now, and she keeps saying crazy. I thought she disappeared like back in like 2011? Is that when she was like really, really big? She's terrible, dude. Why is she even in the news again? Anyway, there is a video clip about her, and we're going to watch it in a second, but let's read this article first. This is by Kyle Mantilla on Right Wing Watch. David Barton, Tim Barton, and Rick Green of the religious right organization Wall Builders held a series of Barnstorm, Georgia rallies over the weekend that were aimed at mobilizing conservative Christian voters in the state to vote for Republican Senators Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue in the upcoming runoff election that will determine which party will control the U.S. Senate next term. Among the guests who participated in person or via video in one or more of the various rallies were Republican Representative Barry Loudermilk of Georgia, right-wing activist Charlie Kirk, Dinesh D'Souza, and Kirk Cameron, and former Congresswoman Michele Bachmann. Wow, those are actually some really big names, dude. Seriously. Dinesh D'Souza, this is like the only rich person alive to ever go to jail for election. What was it? It was like election donation fraud or something. There are donation laws for elections. You're not allowed to donate more than $10,000 to a campaign or something. I don't remember exactly what the number is. People get past that rule by just donating to the super PACs. Like Hillary Clinton, for example, had a super PAC, which was completely independent of Hillary, had nothing to do with Hillary, but they would take donations, as much money as you wanted to throw at them, no limits, and they would run ads for her. They would run like negative ads against Trump. They would run positive ads for her. They would do all of the spending. And she would even donate some of her money to the super PACs. It's obnoxiously and disturbingly easy to get past the election laws, like the election finance laws. So the fact that Dinesh D'Souza donated so much money that he actually broke a law and went to jail for it is bizarre. Why did he do that? Why did he do that? Seriously, he knew what the laws were. Just give the money to the super PAC. Why did he give money to the politician directly? This is fucking weird. I swear this party seems to be made up of complete morons. Like, I mean the leadership specifically. The leadership is made up of morons. And the only reason they're still alive as a party is because they appeal to the lowest common denominator and people absolutely eat that shit up. Anyways, Charlie Kirk is actually pretty big too. I think he's Turning Points USA, TP USA. He founded that group, I think. Kirk Cameron is a religious nutcase. He's the guy who came up with the crocoduck thing. I don't know if you guys heard of that. He had a picture of a crocodile and a duck that he merged together in Photoshop. And he said, "This is what evolution says would happen. If evolution was real, we should see a crocoduck, but we don't, so evolution is fake." Obviously, complete bullshit.
Now, what I'm about to show you does not exist. These were actually created by our graphic artists. But I want you to keep your eye out for this, because this is what evolutionists have been searching for hundreds of years. All right? And if you find one of these, you could become rich and famous. So here's some transitional forms. This is called the crocoduck. Can you see this?
God, I'm not.
Crocodile and a duck. All right, let's try another one. This is the bullfrog. Half bull, half frog. Or, of course, the sheepdog.
If we actually did see a crocoduck, that would disprove evolution, actually. So he's been mocked mercilessly in my community for a long time. I should really do some reaction videos to that dude. That would be interesting. But Kirk Cameron's pretty big. And, of course, the final one on the list, Michele Bachmann. So let's keep reading the article and see what it said. During a Friday night rally at Salem Baptist Church in Dalton, Georgia, Bachmann declared that she would never be a chump who accepts that Joe Biden won the election, screaming that Satan is destroying our election and that my vote was stolen. So let's actually watch the video and see exactly what she said here.
From the political point of view, from the legal point of view, from the moral point of view, America is not on board with Joe Biden as the next president of the United States. We're not there. And the reason why...
Okay, I'm sorry, dude. Her voice is rough. I don't know if it's like the speakers or the microphone or what. I don't know. But that voice is just, sends shivers up and down your spine. It's like when you were like 15 years old and you're sitting in your bedroom and your mom screams down the hall to get your attention. Owen, you know what I mean? Like, it just like electricity shoots up your spine. You're like, oh God, just stop. That's what's happening right now with Michele Bachmann. On another note, I just want to point out, America is ready for a Joe Biden presidency, and they will accept it because more people voted for Biden than voted for Trump. I'm sorry to say it, Michele. I know you don't like that, but that's what it is. Facts don't care about your feelings. Let's keep listening.
United States. We're not there. And the reason why we're not there is because we're not that dumb in the United States. Because we know without a shadow of a doubt, this man did not get the votes on election night.
Okay, I just want to point something out real quick. People who aren't dumb don't usually have to tell people how dumb they aren't. Usually, if you're defending how smart you are, you're probably, most likely, not in every situation, but usually, you're not that smart. So that line about not being dumb doesn't work on me, Michele. I'm sorry. I don't believe it for a second. As far as the last thing she said there, let's step back a second or two and listen again.
Did not get the votes on election night.
He didn't get the votes on election night. Okay. He did actually get the votes on election night. He did. Biden got the votes on election night. They hadn't been counted yet by the end of election day. That's the difference. Only I don't remember, like 20% of the vote or something had been counted by midnight on the East Coast on election night. But Hawaii is 6 hours off from the East Coast? I don't even know. It's really far off. So it wasn't until 6 in the morning when election night officially ended in all of the United States. So I'm not sure what she's getting at with he didn't have the votes on election night. He did have the votes, they just hadn't been counted. And for the record, the lead did not flip in Pennsylvania or Georgia. Biden won those two states. That means Biden always had the lead in those states. The counting just hadn't reflected that yet. That's the only difference. And the reason that the counting didn't reflect that yet is because Trump put a lot of effort into demonizing mail-in voting to his supporters and trying everything he could to slow down counting so that it would take longer to do this whole process. That was the whole plan for Trump. His plan was to try to make it so that only election day in-person ballots were counted, and then he was going to try to stop all the counting as soon as election night ended, and that was going to deem him the winner. They called it the Red Mirage. We were expecting a red mirage on election night, and that is what we got. But ultimately, Biden won. Let's keep listening.
What happened? Donald Trump got the votes on election night.
Biden got the votes on election night. They just hadn't been counted yet. That's the only difference here.
So why would we be like drones, chumps, and fools to...
You already are. I'm sorry. You're proving it to everybody actively right now.
Go along with this. When the clock was striking 11:59 and 59 seconds on the 400th anniversary of this gift of God to the world, this...
Oh my God, her voice is something else, man. 400th anniversary to what is she talking about? The United States is only like 275 years old or something like that, right? What 400th anniversary are we celebrating? Not democracy, because democracy was created as early as the 500s. I looked all this shit up earlier. What the fuck is she talking about? Am I missing something? Am I missing context? That may be. But she has a tendency to... Oh, there's a cat in the background. See the cat? She has a tendency to say really weird shit anyways, so just make shit up right off the top of her head. So who fucking knows, honestly?
On the 400th anniversary of this gift of God to the world, this idea of voting for the people and the laws that you live under that we take for granted, that's exactly when Satan was snatching away from America, rule by the consent of the governed. In other words, stealing from us our right to vote. I am highly offended, insulted, angry, and I'm not going to stand for the fact that my vote was stolen.
Good thing facts don't care about your feelings, huh? She is the cringiest, most insufferable person alive, I swear. That voice is a force to be reckoned with. These people have a tendency to spread propaganda as much as humanly possible. The goal here is something called the fire hose. Spread as much misinformation as you can through as many channels as possible. You have to have what they call useful idiots to help, too. People can go back behind you and debunk some of those as you go, but they can't debunk all of them because they just keep coming. If 90% of the people who hear what Trump and Bachmann and all of the other nutcases are saying, if 90% of the people who hear that shit don't believe it, that leaves 10% who did. All you need is to flip a couple points, a couple of percentages of people, and you slowly but surely move the country toward conspiracy land. This is a problem that's going to have to be dealt with eventually.